on what you want to do with Yelp. For me, let's see. Now, can you see my screen? Haha, there it is, right? Everybody see my screen fine now? Good, good, good. How's that? Type it in if you see my screen. So the next one, how do you track at-home worksheets? We were thinking of adding an email service with a form to be filled out online. Now that question came to me from Amanda, and I got to tell you guys, we don't do homework sheets. Ooh, Brannon doesn't do homework sheets. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm a parent. My kid goes to school, goes to Kumon, has tons of homework, all the time. I don't want to inundate my parents with more. And the second thing behind that, I think that's really, really important for me. I want to make sure I don't inundate my parents with a bunch of stuff that they don't really want. Now, again, I know we're on a different level, but does soccer send home homework? No. Does baseball send home homework? No. Gymnastics, swimming, take your pick. And we are competing with those types of activities for kids. And I think the second thing, as far as a parent goes, I feel resentful. I feel like you're policing my household. When you're telling me I have to do these 10 things at home with my kid, in order to graduate or get my next stripe or my next belt, that's you coming into my home and policing my home. If I don't do these things, then I don't pass. So I'm not for that. What I love about my One Merit badges is we give them a student parent handout and we simply say to the parent, hey, read through this, apply it to the dynamics of your household. You choose how your kid earns their merit badge. But I would in no way ever want to police somebody's household or make it mandatory for them to do these things outside of my school. And that's just my take on it. Now, Amanda, if you do homework sheets and you need an email service with a form to be filled out, I think something like, SurveyMonkey works fine. There's a billion of them out there. I like Constant Contact. That's the one I use actively, so they're all pretty good. It's really your choice and what you want to do with that. Cool? So that's totally up to you. Let's get into the next one. I'm struggling with whether or not to charge for my after school for a competition class that they're thinking of implementing. Let me cool. There you go. I'm struggling whether or not to charge extra for a competition class I'm starting in January. I'm curious in regards to your viewpoints on upgrade programs. You guys know my viewpoint on upgrade programs. It's not my thing. I'm big on over-servicing people, overvaluing them. If they think they're getting more than they pay for, that improves your retention. It makes people feel valued. I'm not for that old cliche of under promise, over deliver. Because if you under promise, then their expectations are lower. So whatever you deliver above that level, people are happy with. Well, I challenge myself, my team, and I challenge you today to go above that. I say over promise and over deliver. So for me, I wouldn't charge for that competition class. What I would do is I would make it part of their tuition. I would make it as an invitation type situation. Let's say I've got a rock star who's training with me and doing really well. I would invite him to that. The people that really involve themselves in their program for what they're asked of, use it, like our Hyper program. We have Hyper, but we don't charge extra for it. Hyper is an add-on program that we use for people. And again, it's about over servicing and overvaluing. So my viewpoint is I wouldn't charge for that. Not at all. Next question. Oh, this is a big one, you guys, okay? And I'm going to break out of this because I want to see your input as we go along. What do you think of Rainmaker's direct billing? What do you think of their suggested merchant services and credit card billing? Now, you guys know me. I'm a big advocate, of what's going on in our industry. I've been with every major software you can imagine. In my 13 years of owning this school, I've done everything. And I won't name their names, but I've done everything. Everything. And I dig Rainmaker. I think Rainmaker, what I love more than everything about Rainmaker, let's put the software aside because I think the software is very powerful. But what you're going to find with any third-party vendor that you're dealing with is that they're not perfect. They will have glitches. Their software will become inadequate. They must do upgrades. All that will happen. So what I'm very passionate about is the tech support that comes along with it. Do they give you the relationship that you need to get what you want out of that software? Because you know it, the sales guy sizzle up front. We can do everything, including bake you an apple pie. Then once you get involved with the software and you're 3/4 of the way into it, you call tech support and the techie's going, I don't know why the sales guy told you it could do that. It can't do it. Have you ever heard that question before? Give me some love on that. Give me some love. Type it in. Type it in. I mean, we want to be really, really aware of that. So what I love, yeah, right, Josh? Isn't that the gig? So for me, What I love about Rainmaker is I've talked to Ron Sell on a Sunday night, 11 o'clock at Facebook, and this guy's in there, passionately trying to cure a challenge I'm having. They've added some features for us already. Things they can do right away, they do right away. Things they know that are going to take time and are going to take coding and programming, they'll tell you that as well. But the one thing I will guarantee you about Rainmaker, you're going to get a level of customer service that is unlike anything else in our industry. You'll get it with Hyper. We give it to you with one merit badges, but Rainmaker, is something I strive to do. Their level of customer service is phenomenal. So what do I think of the direct billing? They're using ePay. They have their own guy that they use who used to be with First Data. First Data is where they set that mark of how much you're going to pay for billing. So what I did is I went straight to my bank, who I use for credit card processing at Wells Fargo, and I said, "Can you match this guy from Rainmaker's quotes?" So what was so brilliant about that is this guy gave me all this information. Then I went to my merchant services and renegotiated my whole lease with them. Everything that I was doing, them right down to the rates, and I got the lowest rates possible based upon what this guy from Rainmaker gave me, knowing that I wasn't going to go with Rainmaker's, system for direct billing. But you can. I mean, ePay is ePay. It's awesome. It's wonderful. And I think Rainmaker's our future as far as using it, integrating it with your iPads or whatever tablet you're using. We take attendance through the iPads. We take student intake through the iPads. We track everything through Rainmaker. The reports are great. I can't talk enough about it. So, and that's not a plug for Ron. Someone asked me this question. I decided to throw it in there. If you haven't done so, take a demo with Rainmaker and at least check it out. Okay. Check it out. Check it out. Also very poor response time. Yeah, right? Very poor response time. We know that, Clay. That happens a lot in our industry. That poor response time is what kills our business, gets us very disenchanted with the relationship we had with that software company because we have one relationship with the salesperson, one relationship with the techie. Well, guess what? With Rainmaker, they're a team. They're all on the same page. So you talk to Ron, you talk to Scott, you talk to Devin, you talk to Max, all these different guys, they're all on the same page. So that's what's cool about it, all right? And they're very responsive to everybody on my team. Sometimes, these vendors respond to you because you're the owner. Then one of your team tries to talk to them, and they get the cold shoulder and they don't get the same great service. Well, guess what? You won't get that with Rainmaker. Next question. It seems everyone is giving advice on how to run a successful school, including you. You're right. It's hard to know who to listen to. What's your take? Well, I think the first thing you guys, we want to look at is your value system. Everyone have that piece of paper in front of you, those values you wrote down. Again, anything I say, anything a consultant says, anything, somebody who's trying to sell you their product says, if it doesn't resonate with your core values, if it's not in line with your core values, don't do it. It's that simple. Don't do it. For me, we don't do MMA. Why? Because it doesn't resonate with my values. We're a family martial arts school. We cater to kids, so MMA does not fit into my school. Period. And people say, well, you're missing the golden goose. You're missing all this additional income. That's the challenge. We look at a lot of these programs and we take them on. Why? Because we want additional income. Where really money is a byproduct of you serving people passionately, of you offering a killer curriculum and a killer level of service that's unmatched by anybody in your neighborhood. Anybody in your neighborhood. So the next thing you say, okay, great. It's aligned with my value system. What's next? Well, the next thing is, Mr. Sell doesn't return my calls. Oh, to fix my problem. I disagree. Hey, you know what, Adam? I'm going to take care of that for you immediately afterwards. And I don't think Ron knows about that. And I'm going to have him call you immediately, Adam. Now, so jumping back to where I'm at. So then the next thing, if their advice resonates with your core value, then please look at their stats, people. Look at their stats. And, people say, well, people overinflate their numbers all the time. I keep my tax returns on my computer. You want to dispute my figures? You want to dispute my numbers? I'll happily share with you a snapshot of my tax returns. Believe me, paying the government all those additional taxes is not my desire. But I'll show you tax returns that prove my numbers. Because everybody's saying that in the industry. Well, everyone's numbers are overinflated. Anyone can get on their soapbox and give free advice. Absolutely. So you want their stats accurately. I look at Facebook all the time and I look into people's stats. How can a guy with 150 students be giving me advice on how to successfully run my martial arts school? Is that a good call? Maybe if it's just an idea for a buddy day, but realistically, look at their stats and make sure you can verify those stats. Because in the in the end, we are in a business still, right? And we want to make money. So if somebody's doing really well financially in this school, that may be an indicator that you should at least check it out. So that's my take on that. And then the bottom line, trust your gut, people. Listen to your gut instincts. Gut instinct will never steer you wrong, right? It just won't. Your gut instinct will tell you, hey, this is good for me, this is bad for me. But I think in the end, when I think about that, you guys, you've got to make your own choices. You have to make your own decisions. You've got to get in there on a daily basis and make sure you're a black belt in curriculum. You're a black belt in team management. You're a black belt in marketing. You're a black belt in bookkeeping and accounting. Because if you can't talk to these people on an educated level, you're the one that has to make these decisions. So what do? You don't educate yourself. You leave that out there, right? So when the bookkeeper makes a bad call, or a salesperson makes a bad call, then you can conveniently blame your failure on them. Well, you know what? You need to make a good decision, not simply say, that's what I pay you for. No, you pay them to do the footwork. You pay them to do the logistics. But you are the one that has to make that decision for your business. So please take the time and the effort to educate yourself in all capacities. Then any person you talk to out there will definitely be able to help you. Fair enough? But the bottom line, and this is my opinion, strictly my opinion, and I say that all the time, if the consulting thing worked out there, if all that worked, why is it that 85%, 90% of our business is still suffering? 90% of the schools out there are running 100 students, 150, and they're not making the type of money they believe they should, and they're floundering in mediocrity. I'm working with a school right now, and the guy had 400 students. He's down to 150, and he can't put his finger on why, he's dropped to 150. That scares me. If a school owner, a business owner's lost, what? How much is that? He's 150 from 400. That's 250 students he's lost. He's lost 250 students, and he doesn't know why. There's a lot of challenges there. Would you agree? All right, so that leads me to this next question. It's a fair one. What are the three most common mistakes you see that martial arts school owners make, teaching and business wise? I think, my goodness, stop believing your own hype. I'm victim of that too. Um, if you believe your own hype, it's what limits you, man. My ego, I'm my own best friend. I'm my own worst enemy, people. And if I start believing my own hype, I'm in bad shape. So I think one of the things I recommend everybody is you need to have mentors. Have mentors, have people you trust that you can use as sounding boards, that you can bounce things off of before you make a choice. And please don't make a choice just to go against the grain because I'm different. I walk to the beat of a different drum. Make sure you're making good, sound business decisions based upon what serves your clients best, what serves your business best. Are you with me on that? Come on, give me an answer. Are you with me on that? I was again working with this person, and there's had some kind of display that I didn't think fit the school as I was doing a school tour, and someone said to me, "Well, what do you think of that?" And I looked at the school owner and I said, "Well, you know what I think of that." And you know what his answer was? I like it. Well, you know what? I like watching Boardwalk Empire on HBO. I'm not going to hang posters of that all over my school and say, watch Boardwalk Empire. You know what I mean? It's not about me, it's about we. And really, when you're designing your school, you're making choices in your school, business and teaching wise, it has to be to serve people. I look at people's curriculum because that's a big part of running your school. Your core product is curriculum, right? And I say, well, why do you teach it that way? Well, that's where my teacher taught me, and it's what I like to do. It's okay. That's not a basis for running a successful business. So, going back to teaching, constantly educate yourself. Kyoshi Dave Kovar comes to my school once a year, does an instructor boot camp. He trains me, he trains my team. Roland Osborne has been to my school. I hope to get Melody out. If we can be better at teaching, then guess what? We'll be better teachers and we'll serve people better. So I think that, there's a lot of mistakes, not just three. I think the other common one is people go to these conventions looking for enlightenment when really they should come to these conventions and empty their cup. I cannot tell you when I'm standing in my booth at these conventions how much criticism I hear about this guy sucked, this speaker gave me nothing. It's the same old regurgitated stuff. Well, you know what? It's good to visit the basics. How many of you do your white through black belt curriculum at least once a week? I do. I practice my white to black belt curriculum at least once a week. Basics are basics are basics. And if you go to these conventions and you hear something for the second or third time, maybe that's what it's going to take for it finally to take hold. And that's something that you'll say resonates with my core values. I'm passionate. I'll implement it in my school. Fair enough. So there's a lot of mistakes we make. I think business wise, simply throwing up our hands and not educating. I just want to teach. I just want to teach. I'm an instructor. I'm a martial artist. I'm not a businessman. Well, you know what? If you're not a businessman, you're going to fail. And that's the stone cold facts. And if you don't believe that, name one businessman out there in our industry that is successful. There isn't. What they simply do is rationalize their behavior and say, well, I don't want to make a lot of money. I don't want to be a McDojo. I don't want to be a black belt factory. I simply do this because, I love martial arts. Cool. Keep a day job, and that's your purpose and your vision and you're clear about that. Fine. But really, if you want to make a true living out of this, better than a living, make a career, better than that, make a lifestyle that gives you the freedom to do what you want to do, then you need to educate yourself on all levels of running a small business, as well as have an open mind to improving your curriculum on a constant basis. Because if you're not constantly improving your curriculum, which is your core product, then you will fail. And that doesn't mean adopt the new fandangle thing like an MMA program or a cool hyper program, unless that resonates with your core values. What we're talking about here is having a curriculum that serves your clients really, really well. Cool? Now, here's this next question. How do you get your students and parents to become raving fans? Well, I think it's really about recognizing in my school, we have 567 students as of today. I don't look at it as 567 students. I look at it as one student, one at a time. And we treat them that way. We know about their soccer. We know when they got a haircut. We know what vacation they went on that last week. We know their brothers and sisters' names. We care about them. We put their memberships on hold. If they need to get out of a service agreement, we do the right thing and let them out of it. I've never sent anybody to collections. Anybody. I have never sent a single person to collections in the 13 years of doing business. If you feel somebody did you wrong, to me, that's their karma. They'll have to deal with that down the road. It's your job to do the right thing no matter what. So if you want to make raving fans out of your parents, do the right thing by them. Understand they have a life outside your martial arts school. Martial arts is not their only thing. They probably do soccer, go to Kumon. They have several other kids I've got to bus around. Be mindful of that. And I think if you really genuinely care about people outside of your needs for your school and your business, you're going to create raving fans. If you're always going to work with them, if they need time off, those different things, you're going to create raving fans. But there's no set way other than love them, care for them a lot, and make sure, you seek to understand versus being understood. All the time I hear that, well, in our school, this is how we do it. Okay, that's why you have 100 students, because it's how you do it versus creating an environment that allows each individual to thrive and shine. Can you see that? And I think that's a little kumbaya, right? But nonetheless, that's how we do it in our school. We really care about people. And that's why we have belt testing all the time because kids are working at different paces. We do a monthly belt testing, we do a big belt testing every quarter, and sometimes we're testing people on a weekly basis. Is it harder to manage? Absolutely. Does it serve the client better? Absolutely. Because everybody is running their own race. I want things to be efficient and manageable for belt testing, but I also, beyond that, the client's needs come first. Fair enough? Let me take a look at some of these questions. What percentage of your monthly income should be used for marketing and advertising? The rule of thumb they say is what, 10, 20%? I don't even know nowadays. I think it's important to not market one way to 70 people. I think it's important to market 70 ways to 70 people. So as many different ways you can get to market your school, definitely do so. I think, and I want to add this, the one place people are really lacking in marketing is with your SEO optimization. Internet is simply the way to go. If you're still running any kind of yellow page ad, you're in the prehistoric era. You need to get out of that. But the internet is powerful. Reviews are the big thing today. We know that. Get those reviews. There's services out there. I think Prella's FC Online is promoting some kind of power listing, which is Yext. I went to Yext directly myself, negotiated a lower deal at $30 a month, and it just puts me with every business listing out there. I manage the reviews. I post reviews. I work towards doing that. So you want to make sure that your internet presence is major, major, major. If you're not coming up on the first page of any search engine when you search for kids karate in San Francisco, in my case, martial arts in San Francisco, kickboxing in San Francisco martial arts, day camps in San Francisco. If you're not coming up on the first page, preferably before they even have to scroll down a little bit, then you got a lot of work to do. But it's a constant investment. You must constantly manage that. So it's not so much the percentage, Amanda, that you put into that. What I'm talking about is the effort. the consistent effort you put into that. And there's a lot of grassroots stuff you could do for free, but it takes time. I'm serious. I spend about an hour each day on the internet, between Facebook, between LinkedIn, between Twitter, all these different things, making posts, managing posts, fixing my blog. All those things I do constantly, constantly, constantly. So you want to be mindful of that, okay, you guys? With that, it's what comes with the territory. And then beyond that, I use FC Online Marketing's email machine, which is very powerful. I use Constant Contact, which I do e-newsletters and email blasts for that. I use the texting messaging through Rainmaker. I use the profit generators and the email campaigns through Rainmaker. I use Facebook. We use so many different avenues, and you need to. If you're not doing that, please make that effort. Hire somebody. Please don't get some 16-year-old high school student in your school because they're really savvy at creating an app. Make sure you get people that have expertise on managing these things. I have people manage my Facebook. Perella's group is posting email blasts every day for potential leads that haven't signed up. So there's a lot of different tools we use for that. Okay. Whoa, what a concept. Let me look at this one right here. How do you make a weekly belt testing or a monthly belt testing exciting? Well, okay, let's talk about that. Why do we test people? Okay, why do we test people? Type in some answers for me. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Why do we test people? Type them in. Why do you think we belt test people? Come on. Nobody's giving me some love. Give me some love to show progression. Okay, Mike. Right. Thank you, Mike. Okay, that's it. That's all the answer I need. Thank you, Mike. That's why they're simply watermarks, right? They belt test so the parent can see my child is progressing. They are growing. They are learning. That's one of the most brilliant things I'm going to take away from today's webinar. Mike, thank you so much. That is why we belt test. The challenge for me, because some people are sales driven versus service driven, they do belt testing to generate new leads and sign up students. So you go to a belt testing, there's flags and balloons and banners and signs. The kid does 3 techniques, demo team runs out, dun, 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 and do some demo. And the guy's sitting over there at the table waiting to sign up people. For me, that is the wrong reason to belt test people. We belt test people for the progression. That's why you can't do belt testings, other than every quarter. Imagine having the demo team at every belt testing and all that. It's too hard to manage, right? Well, I agree with Mike. It's to show progression. So we do. We do them all the time. And when my kid takes a test at swimming class, is there a bunch of pomp and circumstance? No. They simply say, hey, ding, ling, ling. They ring the bell. Braden today earned his white ribbon. And they hand him a freaking ribbon. Done day. Done day. The worst thing you want to do, you want to hurt your retention, look a kid in the eye and tell him belt testing's not for another month and he has to wait. It's not going to happen. So is it harder to manage? Yes. Does it serve my clients better? Yes. Does it improve my retention? Yes. There you go, right? So, as far as that question goes, Josh, it's okay to test all the time. Just know your purpose behind it, to show the progression, not to generate leads. Cool? Let me look at some of these other questions. Wow. On your online reviews, SEO and internet marketing efforts assigned to a specific team member? No, it's not. It's not, Dale. What I make sure is we assign it. I handle some of it. I have a service I hired called Product Advance, and they manage that SEO as well. And then, of course, FC Online is managing some of that as well. Let me look at Adam's question. Do you think the longer a student commits to training, the lower the monthly payment should be, or the longer they are registered for the higher monthly price they pay? You know what? I think whatever you charge, you charge. A cost of living is 4%. You've been with me 10 years. I'm never going to increase your tuition. That's ludicrous. Imagine if you've lived in an apartment for 10 years. Are they never going to increase your rent? That's ludicrous. They will at some point. So yeah, we do, but we try to offer specials and incentives, and we grandfather in, people to buy, they can do paid in fulls and stuff like that. Like we have a tuition increase this January. So for the past 2 months, we've been offering, do some paid in fulls, avoid the tuition increase for the next year by buying 1 year pay in full, and we'll give you 10% off. So I think whatever you choose, whatever you charge, Adam, you should charge. What I'm asking you is, let's not think about the money, Adam. Let's think about the value. As that student is there longer and longer and longer, are you still presenting a curriculum that is exciting, that is fun, that is appropriately challenging them. Because we know that's the challenge once they get up around first degree, second degree black belt, is we don't have a dynamite curriculum in place to keep them excited, to keep them interested moving on into third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh degree. So I think that's important. And that's the question you should really ask yourself, Adam, is do you have that curriculum to support kids? Fair enough? Fair enough? Wow, look at all these great pictures. I love it. I love it. I love it. Motivation, retention to see what they've done. Is it for the parents? Michael has, is it for the parents to see their children's accomplishment? Cool. So you guys are on the right point. Yeah, for retention, Charles, I agree. I agree. Do you graduate? Do you do a graduation? If so, no. We don't do a big graduation, James, coming back to that, Brett, coming back to that question. What we simply do is we promote them at the end of the class. Or we promote it. It's just very simple. Here's your belt. Here's your diploma. Let's rock and roll. Let's move on. It's very, very basic in that capacity. Fair enough. Let me try to get to some of these other questions that were given to me beforehand. Keep typing in your questions as we're moving as quickly as we can. What does your staff training sessions consist of? Well, we do staff training on a weekly basis for me and my team. We'll do it Tuesday. We do it tonight, Tuesday at 7:30 to 9 p.m. And by the way, all my staff that is there are full-time staff. They all get paid to be at this training from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Their time is valuable. I would never expect them to be there for free. First thing we do is we train. We train, we train, we train. We train on the 2 stripes or tips that we're working on in the next 2 weeks to come. So we start with a warm-up. We do all our push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks. We warm up with white to black belt. That's our warm-up. Then we'll train on the stripes that we're teaching in class currently and 2 weeks moving forward. After that, we'll work on their tip because my instructors are constantly working towards their next degree. We have a rule of thumb. You cannot teach unless you train. So unless they're working towards a new degree and they're training for their next belt, they cannot teach in my school. That's my value system. That's where I live with that. Then we spend the last 30 minutes reviewing our new mat chat because we have the 1 merit badges. So we practice our mat chat like we practice a form or a kata. We do a coach's stance. We work on the inflection of our voice, the dynamics of the delivery, all those different things. Then we'll sit down and talk about those specials we have, what our vision is for the next month to come, any challenging students we have. And that's every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. Then once a month, we do a big instructors and training program. And that's all our assistants, junior leaders, assistant instructors, lead instructors, floor managers. We do that once a month at the beginning of the month. Nobody gets paid for that. That's on the lower end. All these volunteers, these junior leaders, the people in instructors and training, they don't get paid, but my core team does. And I'll tell you why. They're invited to the instructors in training. They are nominated. So once they're invited to be part of that, in exchange for the knowledge, the leadership skills we offer them, the managerial skills that they gain, all we ask is that they volunteer to teach 1 hour a week in a class, and they come to this training 9 out of 12 times in a year. That's all we ask of them. And so in that meeting, we use a lot of Roland Osborne's Millennium Training. We use a lot of Dave Kovar's Instructors Boot Camp. Then, of course, my own mix from all my years of experience in martial arts. We blend those. I'll pull in some Melody stuff. I'll pull in stuff I read off the internet that I feel is of value, whether it's Franklin Covey, whether it's Tony Robbins. And we bring that together because my goal is to help them develop those leadership skills to teach, to teach a dynamic class. So all those components go in there. So when you talk about your staff training sessions, again, go back to your core values and ask yourself, what is the purpose? What is the purpose? Well, of course, I want to build my bench strength. Right? Of course, I want to produce dynamite instructors, but really what I also want to do in those sessions is plant the type of seeds to help them show them that the martial arts can be their life. Martial arts can be their career. I think that's the big mistake we make is we keep training them like we trained them when they were students. We want to train them not only to be great instructors and a great team, we want to train them to make this their career. We want to train them to have that like mind like you to want to turn this into their career. So now you're deep on the bench and you can begin opening additional schools if that's your goal. Question, in your 3 and 6 month enrollments, do you automatically renew people? You know me, I'm not big on long-term contracts. I just don't do that. We do 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1-year service agreements. And anytime you want out of that service agreement, all you got to do is give me a 30-day notice. But here's the dynamics of that. Let's say you're on a 1-month service agreement. Okay? You're on a 1-month service agreement. Now, you want to out in month 2. Well, guess what? A 3-month agreement is $189 a month. A 1-year agreement is $169 a month. Well, guess what? I'm going to charge you $20 for the first month, $20 for the second month, because that's the difference. So you owe me $40 plus $189 for your 30-day notice out. You see what I did? I simply took that 12 months and looked at it as a 3 month because they wanted to quit and gave me a 30-day notice after month two. It's fair. I never send them the collections. I don't collect the whole thing. It's a fair way to go. So now the challenge is, after 3 and 6 months, do we automatically renew people? No. You say, whoa, that must be crazy administration with 567 students. Yes, it is. It is crazy. But you know what? It's the right thing to do. Here's my take on that. One time I had subscribed to a magazine and then it expired. And they automatically renewed my magazine subscription without telling me. And I felt violated. I felt appalled that they took my credit card information and charged my card without my okay. I was not cool with that. Even though it was in the writing, it was told to me a year ago, I forgot. It doesn't matter. The point is, I wasn't cool with it. It now was a bad experience. So yes, at the end of 3 months, we go to them again. But we put, things in place. We use the Rainmaker flows now where we let them know, hey, 30 days to expiration. Hey, 2 weeks to expiration. Hey, 1 week to expiration. Ding, ding, ding. Take attendance. This kid is due. We go tell the parent. We do, it's just part of doing business, you guys. It's just part of doing business. Imagine, and this is just a different take. Imagine if you went to a restaurant and you ate a meal, your favorite restaurant. When you were done, they charged you, right? And then you went home and da da da. Next thing you know, you look on your credit card statement, there's a charge for 3 more meals. And then you call up and go, hey, you charged me 3 times. Well, yeah, we know you're going to be back 3 more times. So we just assumed and we charged you. I know that's a kind of a warped picture, but do you see that? So is it harder to manage? It is. It is. It is. Okay. How do you handle the dilemma when kids want to stop to play soccer, t-ball, etc.? You know what? I respect it. I respect kids that play t-ball and soccer and baseball and football. You know why? It shows that parent challenges their kid to do more than one thing, to look outside of the box, to explore the world. Think about all the different things you've done in your life. Now, I'm a lifetime martial artist, but I've jumped out of an airplane. I've done so many different things. I love to explore. What you want to do is be supportive. Let's say they're going to stop completely for a while. Then you let them know, hey, good luck with soccer. Is it okay if I bother you when soccer season is over in 6 weeks? Is there a reactivation date? You do all that. But here was the brilliant thing for me. We used to have just a twice a week program, okay? Twice a week. And with that, we found when soccer rolled around, people just said it's too much to handle. We want to stop completely. They can't do karate and soccer both. It's too much with schoolwork and everything. So you know what I created? A once a week program. Now you go, once a week? I know, it's appalling for me too, right? I grew up training 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, tournaments every other weekend. So the idea of training once a week for 45 minutes is appalling. But you know what? It's not about me. It's about serving my clients. They're busy Monday through Friday, a lot of them. So all they can do is Fridays and Saturdays. We're even thinking of opening a Sunday schedule because we're so packed Fridays and Saturdays. So we're visiting that as well. But the take on that is this: that twice a week student, guess what? They don't quit now. They don't put their membership on hold. They simply convert to once a week. You see the brilliance in that? So they're still in the loop. They're still getting some karate training. You're still planting seeds, which is great for you. They're still progressing along in their training because we've set up our curriculum. Whether you're coming twice a week or once a week, you're progressing at the same pace. So in our twice a week students, one day is stripe, working on stripe. The second day is all sparring. And then the kid that's coming once a week, they simply do striping on 1 week. The next week they do striping for most of the class, and then they spar for the last 20 minutes. So they don't get as much sparring as a twice a week kid, but nonetheless, whether they're twice a week or once a week, I'm able to administer the same curriculum and they're all on the same page. You see the brilliance in that? I can't tell you how many students that's saved for us. Let me bounce over to some of the questions, okay? Josh has one here. How do you feel about being part of a martial arts organization? I won't say well. I feel that we pay a lot and don't get much in return. Do you think you should be part of a big group like that? Well, again, look at that little piece of paper in front of you. Look at your core values. Do your core values qualify that for you, that you need those type of materials? The materials that are offered from you from these different consulting firms or these organizations, do they resonate with the culture of your school? Do they fit the culture of your school? Can you use these ready-made ads? Do the tips and scripts that they offer you fit your vision where you want your business to be in 3 to 5 years? Those are the questions you should ask. And believe me, I have a really nice Lexus. Am I grateful for what I paid for it? Absolutely. I think it's worth every cent. See, anything is worth it to you if you think it's of value. And that's really when we talk about pricing in your school, paying these mentors, these organizations, you need to ask yourself, is it worth it to me? Is it of value? And if it is, you don't mind paying whatever it is you pay. So the question is, when you talk about these organizations, should you be a part of a big group like that, Josh? Only you can call that. And if you don't feel you're getting value from it, then you probably shouldn't be. But on the flip side, ask yourself, when that information comes in on a monthly basis, does it sit in the box and go in the corner? Do you ever look at it? Do you download it? Do you use it and get all the benefits from it? Remember, if I point one finger at you, Josh, I have three fingers pointed back at me. That's what I'm accountable for. That's what I'm responsible for. And my papa said it best. I don't care if Mickey Mouse is teaching class. If you come to learn, you will learn something. So if you're in one of those organizations and your goal is to learn, your goal is to grow your business, your goal is to better your level of customer service, guess what? You will. You will, even from the most unpopular organizations that might be out there, because that is your vision and purpose. Fair enough, Josh? Fair enough? Charles asked me, do you have a written out line for your staff training sessions? Yes, I do. I do, Charles, and we do different ones on a monthly basis. So, Charles, anybody want that information about my instructors in training? Just email me at professor@onemartialarts.com. Cool? Let me type that in. I put it at the beginning, but I'll put it here too as well. Send to all. All right, there you go. So that's in there. Let's see. Amanda, with your staff training, does that include support staff? Yeah, everybody should be there. I mean support staff, Amanda, as in my front desk people, I have a separate meeting with them. And then we have a big meeting with everybody every quarter. But, my front desk staff, they're on a different page. It's more administrative, right? And we're spending a lot of time learning about Rainmaker. We're learning how to do different things with it. So a lot of our time is spent on that versus integrating them with the instructional staff. And for me right now, I'm the big bridge. I'm back in my school a little bit more. I've had some challenges this year. One of my key senior instructors passed away in July. My office manager of 8 years resigned. So it's my opportunity. I went back in, I cleaned a lot of house, reduced my overhead by $5,000 a month, saving 65K on my office manager's salary. So I've got money coming in pretty steadily now. And it's really allowed me to really get back into my business. I was out of it completely for 2 months by choice. I wanted to take the summer off, but it's allowed me to do a lot of good stuff. So I'm really that bridge, Amanda, between my teaching staff and my support staff. So I hope that answers your question. Office manager, et cetera. Yeah, yeah. So Amanda, if you feel the need to do that, then do so. Yes, I discovered that as well. Literally saved 3 kids last year. I'm not sure what that means, James. That Brady must be responding. Can they enroll as a new student coming only once a week? Absolutely. New students can do once a week, Adam. They can do twice a week. It's their call. When I do the special, we do a 4-week special for $69 plus a free uniform. We do both, guys. We can come once a week or they can come twice a week. Absolutely. Do the once a week kids attend the same classes as the twice a week kids? Yes, they do, Dale. You know why they can? Because the curriculum is the same. See, that's what had us stumped for a while. When we first created the once a week program, we were teaching 2 sets of curriculum. One curriculum for the twice a week students, one curriculum for the once a week students. So then we went back to the drawing board and we revamped our curriculum so that whether you're twice a week or once a week, they're on the same page. And that's so much more manageable with 567 students. So that makes sense to me. Come on. I train 6 days a week, 4 hours a day. Even this kid coming once a week, twice a week, once a week, they're still not getting enough training as far as I'm concerned. If they do, how do you coordinate the lessons to allow them to keep along? So I've answered that question, Dale. Mike, I have to go pick up some after schoolers. You go pick up those after schoolers, Mike. Email them and I'll get you that recording session. That was in response to the once a week program. Okay, let me answer some more of these questions, okay, you guys? Let's get back to that but keep typing them in. I love the questions that are coming my way. Let me do a quick plug here for you guys about One Merit badges. Everybody on the call today, you use code 1217 for new clients only. You go to the One Merit badge website, you sign up for our basic kit that you see here. I think the big thing about One Merit badge is, for me, we need to teach character development at the highest level possible. Whether it's me, I think Powerful Words is brilliant. There's a lot of great systems out there. Melody has some. Please find one that resonates with your core values and use them. Use it passionately, because nobody is going to go to a soccer coach and say, hey, can you teach my child focus and discipline? But they will come into your school and they will expect it. They will demand it. And if you're not teaching life skills at the same level you teach your curriculum, then please find one. And everybody says, well, I made up my own. And with all due respect, what makes you an authority on that? Okay. You need to be reading child psychology every day. You should be studying, what people are doing out there. You should adopt systems and values that are on the cutting edge of what's going on in child development and child psychology. Please just don't randomly make up stuff because you think it's the right thing to do. You want to have a structured system in your school that's going to help create that culture, help improve your retention, help enrollments and the different things. So that's all I'm going to say. I think what's neat about One Merit Badge is, going back to that other question, there's no ongoing membership fees. That's what's innovative about it. You pay as you go, you pay as you buy, and no one's ever going to charge you for something you don't want. We're currently in 300 schools worldwide. We do improve retention, we increase enrollment, and it'll increase your bottom line when the day's done, right? So I think that's what's really brilliant about One Merit Badges. And if you have any more questions about One Merit Badge, feel free. I think what's cool about it also, the testimonials, Roland Osborne, who I think is an innovator in our industry, says One Merit Badges is a must for every school. I agree. I agree. When I created it, it's because I found nothing else in our industry resonated with me, didn't give me that type of output. I think that's one of the reasons why we have 567 students and we gross $1 million a year. We did $96,000 last month. Sometimes I have to look at myself and go, wow, that's pretty cool. And I think this month already, we're at 68,000. And traditionally December is a slower month, right? Sometimes November. Whereas for us, we're constantly serving that value because we have such a great life skills system in place. And that's what I love about One Merit Badges. Tom Kalos, another great innovator, says One Merit Badge is an excellent investment and an even better teaching tool. I agree. I truly believe it is. And if you have any more questions about that, feel free to ask me. All right. Randy Reed's got one. How do you keep motivated? How do I keep motivated? One of the things I write a lot about is being a master of sustained passion. How do we do that, people? How do we stay a master of sustained passion? Two martial arts skills that are a must: focus and discipline. Focus we define as paying attention. Look with your eyes, listen with your ears, think with your mind, do the right thing with your body. I constantly make sure that I am focused. And when I get unfocused, I reboot my computer and I get focused again. You need to stay focused 24/7 in every element of your business. I look at my stats, my bank accounts every week, sometimes every day. I talk to my team. I look at Facebook. I train my team. I'm in my school, on a regular basis. You want to be at the breast of it. But if you're not focused, you get off track. I ask people that were successful once that aren't successful today, or where they'd like to be. And I say, what did you do to become successful? Well, I did ABC. I said, are you still doing ABC? You know what their answer is? No. Then my question is to them, why? I don't know. And anytime someone says to you, I don't know, you know what that means? I'm not paying attention. I'm not focused. So focus is, to me, the single most important life skill I must practice. I must practice focus on a minute by minute, second by second basis in order to stay motivated. Second is discipline. I define discipline as to always do your best. To always do your best, to always do your best, whether you like it or not, 24/7, all the time. I make sure I always do my best. I recognize every day a student is one day closer to being a black belt or one day closer to quitting. We've heard that saying, right? But I also recognize I'm only as good as my last class. I cannot have a bad day. I cannot take that into my school, walk onto my floor, and teach that way, or lead by example and train my team that way. So I make sure when I put on my uniform, I go through the ritual, and I do. I stand in front of that mirror. I say this to people all the time. I'm there in my Under Armour and my jock strap, and I go, I am the Batman. I know it's not a pretty picture, but it's my picture because I make sure I always do my best. So focus and discipline are the two key elements, Randy, that I think really motivate me and keep me motivated. And I think above all, and this is it, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I go through a gratitude list. I lie in bed and I go, whoa. And Master Clark gave me this incentive. He says when he wakes up, boom, he hits his chest and goes, takes a deep breath and goes, I'm still here. I get another day. Well, you know what? That's what I do now. I wake up every morning as soon as I open my eyes and I go, whoa, I get another day to do my best. I get another day to make an impact. I get another day to always do my best. And I grew up really poor on welfare and food stamps. I spent 4 years of my life in a foster home. I was abused as a child. I can tell you some more stories that would probably make your head turn. And so I am grateful. Anything above poverty, I am so grateful for. So what motivates me is that I'm grateful. And then above all, my purpose to serve the community, my purpose to serve you and make a difference, and my purpose to provide and care for my family. That's huge motivation. I have a 2 and a 5-year old. I'm out there every day and I love to give my kids all the things I never had. I love, living in $1 million home. I love having a nanny. I love not worrying about money because it really allows me the freedom to create, and do things that I've always wanted to do. So, Randy, if that's a long answer to a short question, that's me, man. That's where it is. Next questions. My billing check is very small and would like to grow it. Do you have suggestions on how to grow my billing check while still being able to keep up with the bills? I've been running my school on cash outs and having to repeat this process every month, and it's getting exhausting. Any insights besides you have to put everything on billing? Well, that's a good question, Master Chan. I'm going to tell you. Paid in fulls, cash outs are not what they're made out to be. We do it right now during these last 2 months of the year because we have a tuition increase in January. We're trying to overservice those existing students that have been loyal all this year. So we're telling them, you buy a year, pay in full, you get 10% off. Avoid the tuition increase for 1 year. 3 months, 6 months, same thing. Paid in full, you get 10% off. So that also helps our end of the year because what I try to do in the quarter of the year, the last quarter of the year, is I look at where I'm at. Okay, I want to make $1 million. Wherever I'm at after that third quarter, we make a run for the border, as one would say. So we do early registration for day camps. People are paying in advance. And we give steep discounts. That I got from Top Kick and Tule and John Cassidy. Then we do a lot of these paid in fulls for the benefits of our members, not for us. Because I'm very mindful. I got to spread that money out over 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So I'm extremely mindful of that, Master Chan. So cash outs, if you're using all that money just to make bills each month, there's something else very challenging in your business, sir. Something a lot more challenging. Look at how many leads you're generating. You should be generating 30 to 40 new leads a month. If you're not doing that, look at your systems of marketing. Look at your systems of referral. Now, the second half of that equation, Master Chan, is are they going out the back door just as quickly? You want to close that back door, as we say in our business. How do you close that back door? Well, look at your curriculum, Master Chan. Look at your level of customer service. I think those are the things you should really evaluate: how they're coming in, your lead generation system, what you're doing to turn that lead and convert them to a regular member, what you're doing to retain your members and close that back door. And I think if you do those things, your billing will go up. But I want to offer my clients whatever they need without the exception of walking up to your desk and paying in cash or a check each month, which we don't allow in our school because that's just for us way, way beyond, what we need to do. We want to try to get as many people on billing as possible. Why? Because then you have that feeling that, okay, on the 1st and the 15th, I'm going to be generating this amount and this amount. It's wonderful to look at my bank account and see on the 1st, 10 grand coming in, to see on the 5th, another 3, 4 thousand. Because with Rainmaker, we can do the 1st, the 5th, the 10th, the 15th, the 20th, the 25th. I love seeing that guaranteed income coming in. So you do want to increase your billing because it gives you that steady cash flow. But still offer those paid in full, sir. Just make sure you're not spending all that money at once. And if you are, just to make your bills, Master Chan, you need to review a lot of other things in your business. Fair enough? Brett's asking me, do you have a written mission statement? We do. We have a written mission statement, as well as we're defining our purpose statement too right now. I think if people are focusing on service, which is your purpose, versus sales, we don't sit in our weekly meetings and go, all right, we're only at 50K this month. We need to get up to 70K. We need to push A, B, C, D. We do that on a continual basis, just through communication and what's going on in the school. But you want to have that strong purpose and mission statement because you want to get the right people on the bus, as they said in Good to Great, but you want to get them into the right seat. And if you got people on your team that don't resonate with your purpose and your core value or your mission statement, it's like pushing a big rock up a hill, you guys. You don't want people like that on your team. You want to weed them out. So that mission statement is vital. And you're constantly reprogramming that computer and telling people and, filling that mission statement. They've got a life outside of your school. Remember, you're trying to convince them to work for you full time to have the vision to want to open a second school with you. So, you're constantly bombarded with their college, their parents, their girlfriend, outside activities. So it's like a bucket with holes. Your vision's always filtering out of that bucket. So you want to plug up those holes and constantly refill that bucket, Brett. So I do have a mission statement. If you want that, professor at onemartialarts.com. So we're getting close to the end of this, you guys. So let me see what other questions I have, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. Adam says, what is your increase? New students, so everyone is due. Our increase for January right now, our once a week program is $129 a month. Imagine that for once a week. These people are paying $30 to $40 a class. Isn't that cool? But remember, we're San Francisco. So look at your demographics and be mindful of the average household income and all the rest. Those are factors in your pricing. Please be mindful of that. And somebody once said, well, it doesn't matter whether they're in the poorest part of the United States or the richest part. Look at McDonald's. The price of a quarter pounder is the same in the poorest part of the country as the richest part of the country. That's freaking McDonald's. We're talking about a $1 hamburger, people. So be mindful of that, okay? Our tuition's a little more than a $1 hamburger. So I don't think that philosophy applies. You do need to look at that demographic. So once a week is 129. It's being increased to 139. Twice a week program, say someone's on 1 year at 169, that's going to be a $20 a month increase to 189. Now people say, well, that's a huge jump. No, it's not. It's $2.50 a class. And that's how we've been promoting it. We didn't say $10 a month for once a week or $20 for twice a week. We said we're going to have a $2.50 a class tuition increase. Doesn't that sound more palatable? Absolutely. Again, so it's how you offer that. So I hope that answers that question, Randy. Okay, let me see if I missed anybody's questions, because you know me, I aim to serve, and I want to make sure that I answer all your questions. But did I miss anyone's question? If I did, can you please type it in one more time? Because it seems like we only lost a few people. Wow, just about everybody's still here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on now. Any more questions? Any more questions? Give them to me. Last chance, last chance. Last chance, last chance. Okay, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up with this. We're coming up on the new year. I'm asking people to challenge themselves, commit to yourself, to really take a hard look at your purpose, your why. Why do you do what you do? Why are you in business? Why are you here? That to me is super, super important. And I work on that on a daily basis. Now that I'm married with kids, my why is to provide for my family and be the best dad, best husband I can possibly be. So my purpose is really clear, but I'm always visiting it, because as the terrain changes, as my business changes, as things change, my purpose changes. My purpose now is to open more schools. To make more money? No. You know why? I want to provide my team with the type of living and career and the financial advantages that I currently experience. So I want to give that for my team. So that's what I'm going to challenge you in the new year. Invest in yourself. You are the best investment you could possibly make. I asked my financial guy a couple years ago, I said, where should I be putting my money? Fiber optics in India? Should we put it into Facebook? Where should we be putting our money? And he looked at me and said, you are your best investment. Put it into yourself. And you truly are. And we've had this discussion with some of these big school owners that we're out there working with now. And they say, why out there and consult and do that? I make more money in my school. And I get that. They do. So, take care of your house. Take care of your school. Challenge yourself in that. Revisit that. Walk through your school today. Do a Disney dojo. Does the bathroom stink? Is that wall half painted? Has that flyer been sitting up on the wall one day too long? Clean house. And then make a commitment and develop an action plan for 2014. Lay out the whole calendar for the year. Lay it out from January through December. In there better be more things than just buddy day, bell testing, picnics, those different things. Plant in there conventions. Plant in there, I'm going to hire a mentor. Plant in there, I'm going to budget this amount of money to improve my services, to improve my curriculum, to improve myself, to improve the vision of my team. Those are the things that are going to help you, because if you're not constantly improving your business, guess what? You're going to go to sleep and wake up 2 months later and you're strapped for cash and you go, I don't know. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why I lost, over half my student body and we're floundering financially. You need to be at the pulse of what you do 24/7 without micromanaging. You must delegate, but you can't delegate what you can't define, right? So 2014 is going to be big, and I'm going to keep up these Q&As for you. My wife asked me that today. She goes, what do you make for doing these Q&As? I said, I don't. What I make is my passion is fulfilled. My purpose is fulfilled. I'm paying it forward. And like I said, if anything I offer you today, people, does not resonate with your core values, please throw it out the door. Throw it out the door, you guys. Because I don't have all the answers for you. Nobody does. Only you do. But if you don't have sound systems in place, if you don't have sound values in place, if you don't have a sound action plan in place, and a way to train your team, the way to implement your curriculum, guess what? Nothing any of us offer you is going to make a difference. In the end, don't be sheep. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to anybody. You must make that decision. This is your life. This is your race. This is your song. Only you can see it, sing it. But please base it upon good, sound business practices. Have those mentors. Have those people you trust. Have those people around you. And I hear that a lot. I just got that at this other school. Program director said, he never listens to me. He always does whatever he wants. That doesn't sound like a team member who's on board. That doesn't sound like a team member who's got your vision, who's running with it, who's ready to go, to hell and back for you. That sounds like a disgruntled employee. Why? Because the school owner's vision is narrow. It's driven by ego. It's driven by what serves him and not anybody else. It is a power trip. Ultimately, it's my business. I do whatever I want. You're right. But you know what? When you make your team members feel like they own the business, they perform better for you guys. So it is a new year. 2014, to me, is going to be a huge year for us. We're at 9:35 today, so we'll probably break a mill easily. Easy, but it's not about making money. It's not about making money. What is it about? Purpose. It's about your why. It's your story. Go out there and write it. So this is Brannon Beliso, you guys. I want to thank you for being here today. We did record this, so if you want a copy of this recording, just again, find me at professor@onemartialarts.com. Everybody have a happy, happy holiday. If you want to know about One Merit Badges, just, again, email me. If you want to know more about the great things going out there, just, friend me at Facebook. We got a lot of cool